Hello again. Welcome to the padded cell. Even though we have all this padding in here, I can still hear everything outside. And the stories I hear from some of these other people are quite intriguing, and I thought I'd share one with you now. This one's called The Dorm Mate. When I arrived at the dorm for my freshman year, I was ecstatic. It felt like a new beginning, a chance to reinvent myself. My roommate Jenna seemed quiet but friendly at first. She had a soft voice and a reserved demeanor, and I thought we'd get along just fine. That is, until I noticed the dolls. Her side of the room was filled with them, old and tattered, with cracked porcelain faces and glassy, unblinking eyes. Some looked like they'd been salvaged from a junkyard, their faded clothes and matted hair giving them a presence I couldn't describe in any other way but creepy. When I asked her about them, Jenna just smiled and said, they've been with me a long time. I tried to ignore the unsettling feeling they gave me, but the longer I lived with Jenna, the harder it became. The first week was tolerable, just a bunch of creepy dolls, but at least Jenna is nice. Though I noticed that she rarely left the room, spending hours sitting cross-legged on her bed, her head bowed as if in deep thought. At night, I'd wake to the sound of her whispering to herself, or worse, giggling softly in the dark. I know. She'll find out soon. One night I woke to find her standing at the foot of my bed, her face obscured by the shadows. Jenna? I whispered, irritated, my throat dry. She tilted her head, her body unnaturally still. They don't like you, she said softly, her voice lower than usual. Then she climbed back into bed as if nothing had happened. My irritation quickly turned to icy fear. I didn't need to ask who she was talking about. I knew it was them, the dolls. I couldn't sleep the rest of that night, especially since Jenna went back to her whispers and giggling. It almost sounded like someone else was answering her, though. After that, things got worse. I find scratches on the walls, deep gouges as if someone had been clawing at them. My belongings would go missing, only to reappear in strange places, like in the hand of one of her dolls. One time, when Jenna was in the shower, I was looking for my English book and couldn't find it for the life of me. I looked all over my side of the room until I heard a strange giggle come from under Jenna's bed. I slowly approached it and raised the blanket to find not only my book, but a doll laying on top of it. I screamed, grabbed my book, and smashed the doll's head with it. The porcelain dust covered the ground and half of the face was missing. I jumped back onto my bed when Jenna came out of the bathroom. Did you just scream? She asked, almost gleefully. I gotta go to class, is all I said before storming out of the room. One night I woke to the sound of her chanting. Her voice was deep, anguished, speaking a language I didn't recognize. I sat up, my heart pounding, and saw her kneeling in the center of the room, her back arched unnaturally, her arms outstretched. Jenna, I shouted, but she didn't respond. Her body convulsed as she let out a low, inhuman growl that sent chills down my spine. I scrambled out of bed, reaching for my phone, but before I could call for help, she turned to me. Her eyes, once a soft hazel, were now black as pitch, two empty voids. Her mouth twisted into an unnatural grin and she started crawling toward me, her movements jerky and sporadic. Don't you see? She rasped, her voice layered as if two people were speaking at once. This is my body now. I screamed and tried to back into the corner of the room, but she was faster. She lunged at me, pinning me against the wall. Her face was inches from mine, her breath hot and foul. You don't belong here, she hissed. This is our place. Jenna is our home now. I struggled against her grip, but she was impossibly strong. Her fingers dug into my arms, and I felt a searing pain as if her touch was burning me. Then she threw her head back and let out a bone-chilling scream. The lights flickered and the air in the room grew thick with the smell of sulfur. I could feel something heavy pressing down on me, something far more malevolent than Jenna. With a final burst of strength, I shoved her off me and ran for the door. Jenna went flying and landed in the corner of the ceiling. How was she up there? As I ran out the door, I heard her laughing behind me, a deep, demonic sound that didn't belong to her. Run, little rabbit! Run! I didn't stop running until I was outside, gasping for air. The next morning, I went to the dorm with campus police, but the room was empty. Jenna and her dolls were all gone. The walls were pristine with no sign of scratches I'd seen. Is this a joke, miss? Ain't nothing going on here. The campus security guards looked at each other, scoffed, and started walking out. You know, we should write you up for this prank, but we'll let it slide this time. Next time, we are going to the deed. I know I'm not crazy. This all happened. But the worst part, my bed was neatly made, but I heard the faintest laugh underneath it. Slowly, carefully, I lifted the blanket to see the half face of the broken doll from under Jenna's bed. I transferred to a new dorm that same day, but I still can't shake the feeling that she, or whatever had taken her, is still out there, waiting, watching, laughing. I hope you enjoyed this story. I know I did. Please come back again. Like and subscribe as well. Goodbye now.